Hello, I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel. In this video today, guys, we're going to be going through what feels like the morning after the night before. We had the massive community announcement from Sorare all over YouTube yesterday. I think it was all we were talking about all day, you know, all the different new things that came out. I dropped a video yesterday going through the Specialist and the Underdog leagues for this coming game week, just having my first kind of unboxing of it, if you like. That was good fun. Of course, did the stream with PSU fans too, going through a live react of the actual details of it. So if you haven't caught any of that content, it's on the channel. It's there at your leisure. But today, it's a new dawn. Everything's kind of going to be moving forward now with these new things ready to roll out, whether it be the new MLS cards, the new card design, the ETH getting pegged into dollar as of August, as well as the common goalkeeper being removed from the rare division as of August as well. We'll be going into all that and much more in the video today, guys. Basically, I'm going to be taking this angle of approach when it comes to the whole common goalkeeper removal. What I'm trying to put myself in the mindset for in this video is I'm a limited player. I only have commons. Maybe I've got some rares. Maybe I don't have rares. That's the kind of POV I'm going to be taking on this in case you're in that position. And it might be something that you're interested in, even if you're maybe at one or two steps beyond that at this stage. As well as, you know, mainly with the ETH payouts and the thresholds, how to maximize that, as well as with the new progression system that's kind of been laid out with some of these divisions, how it's best to exploit it for us to be moving up through the leagues. So at any point, guys, in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something, whatever, please do like and subscribe and share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's get stuck into it. If you could hit the subscribe button, I do daily videos on Sorare, everything from hints, tips and tricks all the way through to live streams and tips on cheap players to buy. That will also automatically enter you into my March giveaway. I'm giving away a rare Davy Klaassen, who's a midfielder for Ajax, and 2 limited goalkeepers. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So I'm feeling really big deja vu making this video. I did one really similar to it like almost 2 years ago around similar developments when we had a community update. That'll be linked to the end of this video. If you fancy a giggle, you can go and check that out. The reason I really feel this deja vu around it is with the seismic changes that we know are going to be coming as of August. There's going to be so many new metas in different levels of the game, and I find myself putting myself in the position of if that was the extent of my SO5 exposure was limited and maybe common goalkeeper activity in All-Star Rare or Champion Rare or whatever it might be. What would my motives be right now for progression? What would I be fearing? Or what do I think is the optimal strategy for me to make the best position possible for myself as an individual between now and August? So in total, we're looking at 36 game weeks, okay? Now the maths are pretty easy if you were to do big thresholds every game week, and obviously if you were to do smaller thresholds, it'd be 0.72 of an Ethereum if you could get every big ETH payout between here and there, and it would be half of that, so 0.36 if you got the smaller threshold. That's not possible for everyone, but that's what I would be thinking about over the next 36 game weeks is the average that I can be clocking in off of All-Star Rare thresholds between now and when August happens. If you believe especially that Ethereum is going to continue to rise between now and then because the Ethereum amount is going to stay stable, you should be then looking at what will be more than $50 worth or $25 worth. If you believe Ethereum is kind of going to stay around where it is or it's going to move backwards, then that actual sense of urgency, you're not really going to feel that, and fair enough. Because I can't forecast the price of Ethereum, I'm not I've not got a crystal ball where I can work all that stuff out. I'm always going to play it on the situation that is in front of us, and that is at the moment, picking that up is going to be more valuable slightly than when it's going to be $50 and $25 for where Ethereum's at the moment. I think most people running with a common goalkeeper would probably have the expectation of having an average between the 0.01 threshold and the 0.02, which is also a 0.015. And if you're to keep that average between now and the end of the next 36 game weeks, you'd be picking up just over half an ETH, okay? Now, the reason these numbers are important for me, if that was the situation I was in, is because potentially that's the funds I might need for a rare keeper if I'm going to continue playing at that level, and we'll come back to that in a minute. These are my commons who are going to be heading for retirement as of August. I've not used a lot of them in a long time, but they've been decent enough for like the Pau Lopez for training or whatever, and back in the day bashing out some ETH on them, and so it'll be sad to see the guys go. But anyway, I would also be looking at this if I was just like a limited only player in a really opportunistic way, because I think you'll be very surprised if you're a strong limited player and you've got, like, you know, you can cover most regions, you've got some decent depth or whatever. The reward pool that we've got available, especially when it comes to this specialist limited league, is incredible. You know, when we look at the prize pools for this, at the very top, of course, we're getting the star headlines and whatever, right? But see, even if you're able to get into this tier 2, let's say over the next month or two, we've got the full calendar, you can see how often this competition runs out. If you can get into the top 50, and that's, you know the restrictions for this specialist league, I'm not going to recite them to you again. You can be picking up some decent rares in here in the tier 2 pool. They're not honking. Some of these guys are quite handy, and even success in this league in the immediate term, and I mean in the opening kind of month or two, if you could pick up between 1 and 3 rares, you've got a common goalkeeper. The time that's left on the threshold is something that I would be entertaining if you previously weren't, but trying to do it organically through the game. And I think that may be part of Sorare's motivations and incentives for some of the changes we've got here, because in this tier 2 pool, there is a couple, I've had a wee scan through it already, there is a couple of goalkeepers, and I say they're not absolutely stinking, like Marciano, former Hibs goalkeeper, now at Feyenoord, getting a game. If he was to leave Feyenoord, he'd probably keep playing. If he's at Feyenoord, anyway, that's a decent tier 2 goalkeeper to be picking up. And I say there's a few scattered around here, and some decent outfield players as well for Champion Euro, for U23s. So if you can be winning these cards with limiteds, you're getting into roughly about the top 50 to be winning these, it would look like. But most of my favourite wins over the last 6 to 8 months have been like top 50 finishes, and you'll see the calibre of cards I've got, guys. They're nice, but at limited, they're not special. And in fair enough, at limited is different requirements, but this specialist league does handicap the field. You cannot roll out an Ajax stack, you cannot roll out a Bayern stack, you can only have maximum 2 guys from the same team. And I said I wasn't going to recite the criteria, but here we are. Matthias Vargas, his super rare just went for a bucket the other day. There's some really good tier 2 cards in here, guys. I really can't state it enough. And because the playing field on this has been leveled out with the criteria, it's a really deep pool as well. I've seen a Jordan Teze there, yeah. Really nice pool overall. And for getting top 50, that would be my mindset, is get top 50 and get a good tier 2 rare. And you know what? Hey, if you can get top 13 and get a tier 1, or get on the podium and get a star, jackpot, right? But my goal and objective would be quite simply to be pick up some of these tier 2 rares from this division. And as I say, because of the handicap that's imposed on the field in terms of not being able to stack happy and go absolutely bonkers on it, me personally, the way I build my gallery and the way a lot of you guys are probably building your galleries, you won't have an Ajax stack, a Bayern stack, this kind of thing. Then this league is where I would be really wanting my club, my gallery, to be really strutting its stuff and showing what it's capable of. I really feel that this specialist limited league should be the gateway for players to be getting into the rare division, because I said those tier 2s, if you can finish in the top 50 once a month, and bear in mind over a month there's 8 game weeks, so 4 weekends, 4 midweeks, depending on what's going on, isn't a really big ask for limiteds if you have the right criteria and you really put effort and attention into it and made it your priority lineup. And if that was your goal and motivation to move up the divisions, then I think that is, for limiteds now, a must-play division for a lot of galleries that are just getting started and fearing the door closing on the opportunity to use a common goalkeeper from August and beyond. So if you can get any success in this, maybe you need to buy a rare, maybe you sell a limited card or 2 and you buy a rare striker, you win a defender or midfielder out of this over a month or so, you've got a common goalkeeper till August, and you can get into that ETH threshold payout. If you aren't exposed to that currently, I would definitely be looking at, could I just very easily, through what I've done already, without doing too much extra, take advantage of the limited time I've got for a little stepping stone to help and ease that progression. Because even if you could do that and capture any sort of ETH from threshold over even 10 game weeks, that's a decent little bit of ETH to be putting in your wallet to either withdraw, buy something else, trade against, whatever you want to do. Now guys, like I've often said on the channel, I treat most of my goalkeepers as an entry token for the competition. Most of the goalkeepers are relatively interchangeable. Some of them are better than others, yeah. Some of them are honking. Some of them don't play. That's the real big thing with goalkeepers. But I think legend cards are also going to take on, for me anyway, that pressure valve, that release on my gallery when it does get to a great situation and I'm really stuck for choice. Because that's the thing with limiteds at the moment, is they have been really bottlenecked on utility. There's only 1 division per region, whereas with rares and super rares, as we know, they've got much more utility in that sense. So when it comes to limited legends, I think if you've got a big limited gallery, you're looking to grow your limited gallery, I think a legend will be a little activator that you can get in once a month or twice a month, however often those competitions run. that you're then still going to feel you're getting utility out of other cards you've got knocking around the club or the gallery. So even if you're not too interested in Legends, I would definitely be paying close attention to it. I wouldn't be rushing into the market like I did yesterday to buy a goalkeeper or do anything like that, because they do have 50 Legends signed, and they did say in the announcement yesterday there'll be more Legend announcements coming. So I think they've got many more cards of Legends to issue, and the kind of bottleneck on the supply side of the whole supply and demand dynamic is choked at the moment, and I think that'll get a big release and a big release of supply at some point over the next 6 weeks, certainly. So that's something, again, if I was a limited player or even with rares with a common goalkeeper, if I didn't have a legend, I would be looking to get one, because it's a token basically, you know. So I would always want to get one of a player you actually like, and unfortunately if the guys you like are all super expensive, then I would just save up, or just get, you know, maybe just get a cheap one in the meantime, who knows. But I would try and make sure it's something that you like, because it's just it should just be looked at, in my opinion, if that's the kind of gallery you've got, sub 100 cards unlimited, sub 10 in rare, they just will activate another division you can just throw a loose team into. I don't believe there's any other criteria other than it's min 1, max 3 on Legends. So if you have like another guy that's popping off and maybe you can't squeeze him into your specialist team, or the rest of your champ Euro guys are just too good as well, and you've got this other guy that's just floating about, cannot be used, or a couple of guys, you know, one from this region, one from that region, whatever, then these Legends will help relieve that kind of pressure on your club to, you know, oh, what decisions do I make? Oh, well, I've got another team, I've got another outlet that we can go and compete against, that will make things a bit easier for you to coordinate. And the last kind of thing I'll say on this, guys, just to finish up the video, is with the new card designs, like overall I think they're pretty good, right? I you know, for as much as these things get stick, I quite like the way a lot of them look. Not all of them, but I like some of them, you know. And it is so different. So it'll take a wee bit of getting used to for me, certainly. But I think, guys, if this place goes where we think it goes, 1 million users, 2 million users, whatever it is in the future, and it thrives and goes on to be a world famous game and all the rest of it, all these OG cards, these are going to be like early adopter kind of, you know, if you've got a bunch of these, like, oh, you've been here since the beginning. So if you do have a bunch of these, if there's any of them that you are attached to, that's something I would bear in mind, because the new card design is radically different. It really is. And I would only see it continuing in the kind of new vein that they've set. I don't think we would ever see any sort of return to this kind of style unless it's in like 20 years from now and it's like vintage or something. But so if you've got a bunch of these, that's an element for me, personal satisfaction of my club and my gallery. Some of these almost now become even harder for me to sell, because I do feel that like some of the ones I've had for so long already, you know, because the new card designs are so radically different, these will stand out in 4 years time, 5 years time, whatever, as like, oh, you've been here for, and obviously you guys have watched the content and know I've been here for ages, but this means for you as well, because like it's hard to realize and remember, or not remember, but it's hard to realize sometimes like the situation we do find ourselves in until developments happen. But the scope of these changes really do point to, you know, this is only the beginning. They're making substantial changes to make it much more of a, and I said this on Twitter, Sorare's future is about being a football game on blockchain rather than a blockchain game about football, you know, and all the moves that they're making are moving in that direction. And it does feel like a new dawn, and it really does feel like for the next like 2, 3, 4 years, this will be a wee line in the sand moment where we kind of remember the YouTube announcement with the new card design, and all that really then set off the next, you know, wave of success and whatever, you know, licenses and expansion that the company's set out for. So I'm really excited to get stuck into all that. And I'm sure there'll be tons of videos on the channel where I do a bit more blue sky thinking and kind of run down the rabbit holes of what might happen in the future and whatever. But the first and foremost thing I wanted to look at and think about was, if this was on my doorstep as something that was a real change that really affected my gameplay, what would I be interested in and whatever. And one thing I mentioned earlier in the video that I'll come back to finish up is, would I really be motivated to move into rares like urgently without, so part of the thing I was speaking about earlier with the Specialist Limited, if you are motivated to move up into the game and to move into different divisions and get more expensive cards and trade and all that kind of stuff, then yeah. But I can easily imagine there have been plenty of people that are just not interested in that whatsoever. I play Sorare like kind of every day now at this point, all day, every day. But there's plenty of people out there who are like just game players. You know, they'll log in twice a week, 3 times a week, buy somebody, sell somebody, list a team, and move on. And that's something that definitely for me is so understated. There's so many more passive players or so many part-time players, I feel like, that just log in and just do their thing, log off, and you never see them on Discord, you never know they're on Twitter, you know, or whatever. And I think there'll be a large portion of the game that will just be happy to use those limited cards in as many different places now as possible. And if they do win a reward that will surprise them and give, oh wow, I won a tier 1 rare this week, or I won a rare goalkeeper, that kind of thing, then it gives that kind of big payout potential for the limited cards. Because at the moment, with them being homogenous in the sense that you could only win limiteds with limiteds, it does really put a ceiling on their value. But now, of course, that ceiling gets moved up greatly because you can now win top end rares with them. I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Please in the comment section down below let me know your thoughts on this new dawn. Between now and August, common goalkeepers coming and going, yada yada, Specialist Limited being the gateway up the ladder. What do you think about all this? Legends being the relief on your depth. If you want to get some more teams out, having one will at least activate it. What do you think about all that? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Let's get into all the giveaway stuff before I let you go. I'm still doing monthly giveaways and I'm making it easier to enter. If you want to be entered to win this month's prize or any future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, you need to be a subscriber to enter, then leave a comment down below. Each month, a random comment from a random video will be selected as the winner, so the more videos you leave a comment on, the better the chance you've got of winning any of my giveaways. All the winners are announced at the end of videos the same way as we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed the video today, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. On screen now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.